right. Hello, and welcome. This week on our Her Talk Show Roundtable, we're unpacking the conversations that actually affect how you lead, sell, and sustain your business. We're breaking down niceness versus kindness. I'm so excited for this reel I'm going to be sharing with you ladies. It talks about why nice can sometimes cost women credibility, boundaries, and growth, while real kindness often looks uncomfortable but builds respect and trust. We're also diving into how Gen Z is reshaping our marketing. This is very important for Debbie and I because we're not Gen Zers, right? And we're seeing the market change. And so we're going to kind of dive into an article and a really interesting reel that I found on this that I just thought was absolutely hilarious, and really dive into why scripted, polished content is starting to just totally fall flat, different than the way it was maybe a decade ago, and why authenticity really means that you want visibility in sales today. We're going to be talking about health, Debbie's niche here, health, energy, and longevity. I'm super excited about this. We're going to be talking about how just something as simple as increasing your daily steps can directly support your focus and decision making and your performance in your business. So if you are a woman building a business and you want to lead a smarter, market better, and protect your energy while you grow, this conversation is definitely for you. Make sure you stay put. Also, just a reminder, myself and Emily Tassoni, for those of you that have met Emily on the round table here, we are actually running an all-women's business retreat this coming April 2026. If you are a woman business owner and you are looking to get away and dive into your business with other women business owners, take your business to the next level, we'd love for you to join us. Take a picture of the screen right there for that screenshot. That is the website to go to in order to check us out. All right. Well, we are live and we are here today welcoming all women business owners to check in. We talk to first generation trailblazers. We meet here every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern. We stream live and we talk about topics that are shaping our entrepreneurial journeys in order to empower you to make smarter, bolder decisions for your business. So I'd love Debbie to introduce herself. Let us know who you are, what you do, girl.
Yeah, hello. I'm Debbie Ropo, and I'm a health coach, and I help women business owners put health as part of their business strategy and not something that they'll do when they're not busy, because our health truly is that inner empire. That health within is how we create that outer health. That outer empire.
Yeah, I think sometimes, I can just speak from personal experience, when you're concentrating so much on the success and the finances of your business, it's really easy to let your kind of health fall on the wayside, skipping your morning workouts, not eating your lunch, waiting to eat your breakfast. Can really mess you up, and then you wind up snacking. I know I've fallen into that so many times where you're not sitting down for an actual meal and you just wind up just snacking on freaking goldfish.
Yeah.
And then wondering why you're tired, you're dizzy, brain fog, you can't concentrate, gaining weight, all the things. So I totally agree especially for women business owners.
Because we're the two of us today, I just highlight that just a bit. When I was in 2013, busy working in orthopedic surgeon's office, and I'm getting all these little signs and symptoms, I was too busy. I was too busy to pay attention.
Yep.
And they just kept coming. And then I got a strong diagnosis. My body crashed. And it's just interesting that that's just what we do. We, as business owners, we're trained to push, go, which is great in some ways, but we have to just be careful the cost isn't too much.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, so I'm really excited about that, ladies. Make sure you stay with us till the end. Debbie's going to be diving into a really awesome topic around health, wellness, and energy and stuff, and just simple. And that's one of the things I really like about her during these round tables. She talks about various very simple things that we can start adding to our days in order to increase our health just in general. All right. So we're going to go open up around a topic of kindness versus niceness. And the reason that I'm bringing this up, when I saw this reel, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is perfect, is because and I know Debbie falls into this too. When you're a coach, when you're a coach, it's you're helping people transform. And a lot of times when we're nice, like I'm speaking for myself, I'm like a nice person that identifies as being nice. And sometimes when you're being nice, you're not giving individuals the feedback, the kind criticism that they need in order to make big transformations in their life, for me to help with their business, for Debbie to help with their health. And so I just thought this was an absolutely amazing viewpoint on the detriments of niceness versus kindness. So let me start this. Let me make sure it's starting from the beginning, first of all. And then.
Well, the way I break it down is I go, what is not kindness? Niceness is a good example.
Yeah.
Right? A lot of people are nice.
Yeah.
I find a lot of, like, for instance, Scandinavian, Swedish people, not very nice, but very kind. And it's a very complicated thing to understand, because niceness is the performance of kindness, but it's not necessarily the action. It is a nice thing to say something to somebody. It is a nice thing to smile at somebody, but kindness is doing something. Do you know what I mean?
Giving somebody hard feedback is kind, but not nice.
Yes, if
not giving somebody
right
feedback
is
nice, but not kind.
It is very nice.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, this is a small thing, but I'm always thrown when someone has something on their face and no one tells them. It's very nice to not tell them. You have something on your face. Don't tell them. You're being nice. It's better to be kind than be like, hey man, your face. Do you get what I'm saying? And I think it's a very simple example of it, but it's also a very complex idea, because one makes everyone feel like everything's going right. The other one is being able to embrace the discomfort of what's not, in a way.
So
I mean,
good.
you define.
So good. And just really when it comes to the world of coaching, right? Like, it's hard being a coach at times because you want to be nice. You want to be nice. You don't want to hurt people's feelings. You don't want to point things out, that are obvious to you because they're coming to you in a niche of which you are an expert in.
Yeah.
So I'd love to kind of hear your thoughts on this, as far as where you're seeing this, dealing with this, and how you're kind of seeing this happen in your life.
This is my world, just like you said, in coaching, especially in health coaching, right? And maybe not especially. I mean, when you say you're business, you're a business coach, same. Yeah. But this is an example, and that I have clients, for example, who will say, I really want to sleep better. It's really important to me. It's affecting how I'm showing up in all areas of my life. And in the same breath, I drink 3 or 4 drinks at night. And I could be nice and say, oh, well, you're just trying to relax. It's okay. I understand. Well, let's try. No. I got to be kind and say, hey, did you know? Are you aware of what alcohol does to the sleep patterns? Now, the client can say, okay, I got the information, not interested. We're not doing that. Let's move on. But it's my job as the coach. I have to be kind, not nice.
Yeah.
And there's 1,000 examples of this. Actually, Brene Brown, she talks about it, that niceness avoids discomfort to protect feelings in the moment, and kindness requires courage and tells the truth with respect.
Oh, I love this so much.
Right?
Yep.
And another thing that she says that she's one of my favorites. Clear is kind, vague is not. And it makes me think about you and your business when we're in your incredible Her Nation, these conversations in the masterminds. We're all coaching, we're giving our pitches. I know that you wanted to share about that, our pitches.
Yep.
And the person will say, oh, you did a great job.
Yep.
And I'm like, wait, thanks for being nice to me, but could you be kind and give me some criticism?
Exactly.
Right?
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. And that's one thing that I do. I remind the ladies a lot every single week. On Mondays is what Debbie's talking about. Mondays in the mastermind, we go over that. And I try to remind the ladies every single time, like, listen, when you go into this room, I get that like somebody might give you an amazing pitch. You might want to just be like, oh, good job, good job. But there is something. There is always something that we can be working on, tweaking. Could be our pitch, could be our tone, could be how fast, how slow, could be our hand gestures, could be the way we enunciated a word where there can be some sort of an adjustment. And it's just like sports. It's just like sports. Like if you think of your business or you think of your health as winning the game, right? Winning the game, you're constantly practicing. You're in constant practice before you go out and you actually play your sport or you play the winning game or whatever it is. And that's what this is, right? When we're leading our life, it's constant practice, constant practice, constant practice. And then when you're, for instance, for me, when you're in front of a prospect and you pitch, right? You pitch a sale to make a sale. That's when you're actually playing the game. So there has to be steps that you're taking, for instance, the elevator pitch, where somebody sat with you and did not let you get off the hook with, oh, that was a great pitch. Versus making sure that it's as perfect as it could be, so that when you are pitching that prospect to make $1,000, $2,000, $10,000, that prospect is getting the best possible pitch that they could get, is incredibly important. And that's where a lot of times we're missing the game, or the object of the game as women is, yes, we want to be nice to each other. Yes, obviously be nice, right? But there is a definite difference between what you said with Brene Brown, avoiding discomforts, in the kindness of conversations and being real with people.
Yeah. I remember early on in Her Nation, that your Monday's mastermind, and we're doing the pitch, and I give my pitch. And fortunately, the woman was someone who's been in your mastermind for a while. Yeah. So she saw the value of giving feedback. And she started to tell me, I don't know what RA means, which is rheumatoid arthritis, which I think everybody knows what that means. She probably gave me 3 different real strong points that all 3 of them were, what? So I was so surprised by it. So sometimes we think we know something, and that kindness being reflected back in that, when, referring to a pitch, is huge. I think another part about this is, I love root causes. What causes you to need to be nice instead of kind?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
That fear of judgment, of stepping up and expressing your full self.
Yep.
It can be challenging for women, and that practice, that's why that practice is so vital.
Yeah. And I like that you're saying practice. One of the things that I wanted to mention here is that I practice doing is, when I do see somebody that has something in their face or their teeth, a lot of times it happens with lipstick, is instead of just saying, hey, because it's awkward to be like, and then when do you say it? There's other people, right? So what I have gotten into the habit of doing is either handing over a mirror or my phone. I'll actually hand my phone with the camera open, and I'll say, hey, you got to here, if you want to look real fast. So then it's like you're giving the, what the problem is, but then you're giving an immediate solution versus just leaving the person hanging. Like, I got something in my teeth. Where is it? Like, how do I find it? I have to get up. I have to go to the bathroom. I have to scoot out. I have to leave. I have to excuse myself, whatever it is. Right. So I try to, if I have that available, which usually I do have, at least my phone. So it makes it a little bit easier. They do still wind up usually turning around, excusing themselves or whatever it is. But then at least I feel like there's a little bit of warmth in it versus hey, you got something in your teeth.
Yeah. I always, I don't care. I will walk across the street to tell somebody if I see something.
Yeah.
One of the things that come up for me when that is, I have 2 children. I think about if my kids were in that situation, what would I want someone to do? Right?
Love that.
Again, it comes back to, I want them to be kind and go up and help them out.
Yeah.
Right. But that takes courage. And I think that that's a big part of this, especially in my age group, women, 50, 60 years old, I'm almost 60, that's it's not none of your business. You know how many times I've heard that that's not your business. I've, go to do something that's not your business. Excuse me. Yeah. Actually, I feel like it is my business.
Totally.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. I know Ellen DeGeneres is kind of irrelevant at this point in time, but she had an awesome bit years and years and years ago of somebody spitting on you. Like sometimes, I don't know if I know it's happened to me a few times where like you're talking and a little bit of spit or like on your shirt or your hand or something. And so the bit that she gave was where it happened to fall on your face, like on your freaking cheek or something. And she's like, it's always so awkward because if you rub it off, she's like, I'm so nice. If I rub it off, like that's like me being unkind to you because like, oh, I don't want your spit on my face. So you leave it there, but then that's awkward. Like you don't want to be rude and wipe off spit off of your own face, even though they were rude and they don't want to wipe it off because then they're acknowledging that they did it. Maybe you didn't see it. So it's this whole awkward thing.
Oh my God.
But that really came up for me when I was listening to this. I'm like, yes, why is such obvious things seen as being rude?
Right.
And it's so true. Like listening to it, I'm like, that is freaking true. If you wipe it off, why does that feel rude? That's gross.
Right.
That's gross. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, then you wait. She's like, you wait until the person like turns around or looks away. And then you have to like hurry up and rub it off or wherever it is. And then act like everything's fine when they come back. It's like, dude, why? It's so interesting.
It really is. It makes me think about everything that we think are truth is always filtered through our experiences.
Nope.
It goes through this funnel of all of our experiences, our history. And then we're like, this is the truth. It's rude to do that.
Yeah.
It's not, that's not reality, but our training and our belief system, it makes us say, oh, that's not the right thing to do. Another thing that kind of highlight Brene Brown that says, and it's a little bit different, but still I think it's valid, is she talks about having a soft front and a hard back, right? Where that sense of being soft and kind is so beautiful. But you have to have that backbone to do that. You have to have that really strong backbone to be able to step up and say, hey, lady, honey, you've got a little something, a little whisper of something. Hey, you know what? That pitch was really great, but boy, you can improve this. You know what? You're telling me you want this and you're doing this. Those things don't match. Can you see that?
Yeah.
That is, it's saying with a soft front, but keeping that hard back.
Yes. Oh, so good. So good. Absolutely. And definitely something that we all need to work on.
Mm-hmm.
Something we all need to work on. The reason Brene Brown has followers under that subject, the reason Ellen DeGeneres had so many people laughing at that joke is because it's an issue. It's relatable. This is something that we're all dealing with. And as women in business, we need to work on these things.
Yeah.
We need to work on these things. We need to be showing up as a leader and an expert in our space. A leader is an expert in our homes, as mothers, as wives, as friends. Mm-hmm. And this is absolutely something that we should all be working on. Love it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Speaking of women in business, experts, pivoting into the Gen Z generation. This was huge when I saw all of this. And we know that this is happening when we're watching social media, when we're seeing the videos that are popping up, we're seeing more and more real life, I think, than ever before over the last, decade or so. More and more real life. I remember when I was growing up, and I'm sure you can attest to this, Debbie, when reality TV just hit, like MTV. And then soon after that, it was like The Bachelor, Bachelorette, whole shenanigans. And now it's just like completely taken over. Now social media, you don't even have to be a TV star. People are totally just inviting you into their homes and doing marketing that way. And a lot of this is because of the Gen Z generation. What is the Gen Z generation? Do you know? Can you look that up really fast? Like what the years are?
Yeah, let me look.
Yeah, what's the Gen Z generation?
Yeah, I have to
pull this up.
Yeah.
So this video that I want to share with you ladies really fast is super short. It's literally 20 seconds. So listen up as soon as I turn this up for you. What's the age range, Deb?
Yeah.
It's literally, Gen Z. I think it's like 2000. It's like 2000.
Yeah. I don't even know what I am. I'm terrible with that kind of thing. I know that they're like, what are I don't know.
I'm an elder millennial. I'm in
Yeah.
1982.
So 1997 to 2012 are the birth years.
1997 to 2012
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
Gen Zs?
Huh?
Is Gen Z?
Yeah.
Okay, Gen
It
Z.
says Gen Z.
Beautiful. So those are like 20-year-olds, basically,
Yeah.
right?
Youngest 14, oldest 29.
14 to 29.
Yep.
Gorgeous. Yeah, so this is the generation of social media. These are the people that are just immersing themselves more so than any generation previously. They're being raised with phones in their hands, and they are absolutely changing the way that we as businesses have to market because of the way they're showing up on social media is so real, so authentic, they're real life. This is what we're seeing, right? This is what we're seeing on social media. So we're all becoming adapt to it. And because we're becoming adapt to it, our marketing is now having to shift into real life at your house, not so scripted. One of the things that Debbie and I were talking about right before we got online here is the script, how much this show is scripted. It's just enough script, where we can follow a lineage, but also just enough unscripted where it's still cool, it's still us, it's still authentic, and we're still showing up as our real selves. Yeah. So anyways, let me show this to you real fast. For those of you listening live, we see you here. Thank you for being here. Feel free to drop in the comments, ask a question. I see we have a couple comments here. Actually, let me dive into that to make sure that's nothing on the kindness thing. Oh, it's Kathy. What's up, Kathy? So Kathy has Gen Zers 1997 through 2012. She says all of her boys, all of her kids. Mine too. I have a 2004 baby. So my son is 21, about to be 22. So he is definitely a Gen Z. And I think that's the other reason why this kind of, hit me a little bit, because it's true, Okay, so here we go. Let me make sure. I wish I could turn the volume up before. Oh, here. Okay, here we go.
Just say something like this. Sup, interwebs? For all y'all stepping into your main character era, we are here to be your Buddha banger. No cap. Oh, hard now. The only thing we have left to sell is our attention. That's what everyone is fighting over.
But I don't want to fight to be heard.
That is the actual literal definition of marketing.
The reason I love this so much is because the woman, the younger woman that is doing this, she's just being so real. Yeah. And this is one of the things that I am patting myself on the back on myself right now is my stories. I get into stories all day, every day, and I just pick up my phone and go. I don't think about it. I don't rehearse it. I don't script it, nothing. It's just something comes to my mind. This is how I do my stories. Something comes to my mind. I open up my Facebook, open up my stories, and I just talk about it. And that really resonated with me as far as that young girl doing that, because there was no thought, there was no script, there was no nothing. She just said a 10-second little thing. And then notice how the woman that she's trying to help immediately rebutted and was like, yeah, we're not freaking doing this. I don't want to look pushy. I don't want to look too aggressive. I don't want to. Yeah. And this is what marketing is, people. This is what marketing is. There is a mix between real life, authenticity, getting on and just sharing your knowledge the moment it comes to you, and pushing your thoughts, pushing your ideas, pushing your opinions out into the market, because that is what marketing is. That is what marketing is. So what are your thoughts, Debbie?
Yeah, so many things came up for me with this. Mm-hmm. Number one, I just started laughing because I had no idea what that young girl said.
I love it. I love it.
Right. So I think that that's one point about this.
Yep.
That you want to be attentive to your audience.
Yep.
And that, as a woman who works with older women, I first wanted to push against this just a little bit. That was my first instinct, like, well, yeah, but then I did a bunch of surveys, asked my women, who do you love? Tell me some of the people you love. Went through them, every one of them, authentic, raw, no script. And to be quite honest with you, this is going to change how I market this conversation.
Really?
Because I am a bit scripted when I don't go on video all that often, but when I do, it's a bit scripted. And I see your stuff, your stories are the best. Anyone follow Sabrina and listen to her stories. They're incredible. You're walking through wherever you're walking, you're doing your makeup, you're getting ready, you're changing your outfits. I just could just sit and just binge on you.
Thank
right?
you.
And I think that that's really, really important for women maybe that are older, we have to be adaptable.
Yeah.
Adaptability is part of the marketing process. And though that might not be perfect for me, exactly what she says, the message is.
Yeah.
The message is.
Yeah.
That we have to, that authentic, and that we're fighting for attention and getting our voice out there, and to play something. No one wants that. They want you.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that I really appreciated, so the article that I pulled up right now is written by 925egypt.com. It was a great, great article on how Gen Zers, and because there's so much of their content online now, it is really shifting, which is what we were talking about. It's shifting the way we all watch content, all of us. We can't get away from it. And what we like is real life. We like real life. And so getting rid of the scripts, or even if we do still have a script, making the script real life. Yeah. One of the things that I do, and one of the ways that we create this show, even, which Debbie and I are working off of right now in real time, is bullet points, right? So just main points that we're trying to cover, but then we are ad-libbing how we are extending the conversation on that one bullet point. So even something as simple as that, when you're getting online to talk about something to your prospects, is just having 3 or 4 things that you're going to cover during that live, during that YouTube, during that story, that you just cover those 3 points. So you're not going totally off topic, staying directly to that, but then also not written, not scripted, not like reading it like a robot off of a screen.
Yeah. You think about, because it used to be commercials the way they were before. There was a kind of beginning end almost feeling. And even now the commercials, they're not like that. They jump around a bit. And when I think about what I am interested in, I want to hear someone's lived experience.
Yes.
I want to experience them. And that's an area that in my content, when I'm writing out the captions, I used to just give info, and now I always have my story in the info.
Love
and it's changed so much.
Love it.
So I think that understanding that, yes, and I know that some of the women will fight against that, are used to old marketing the way it was. Be adaptable, because this is shifting.
It is.
I had to kind of boost, push myself a little bit to get that piece. And then I was, well, let me just see, what about my women? What about the women that are in our age group? And all of them, the same thing. You know what? This is real. They want real people, real problems.
Yep.
Your mistakes. It used to be you want to show up polished and you do everything perfect. And that's not reality. And everyone knows it's not reality.
Yep. Yep. And showing up in real time,
Yeah.
showing up in real time is really important. And if not in real time, jotting down the story, whatever it is, so you can use it later. One of the things that I have gotten good at is, I give feedback a lot of times on networking calls I've been on networking events that I've been to, whatever it is. And sometimes if it doesn't feel appropriate to share the story in real time, because you're like, dude, if this person follows me, I don't want them thinking that I'm like, giving them counsel on how they showed up for their networking call. So sometimes I will write it down and then I'll showcase it 4 days later, kind of like a comedian. Like you see stand-up comedy, and he's like, oh, today at my hotel. It wasn't today at the hotel. He's had that joke scripted. He's probably used that joke 17 times since he first saw you. So that's kind of my mentality with this. So I'll share the same exact story 4 days later. I'll say today, today on a call that I had this and that and the other thing, and explain, because I talk business. So I'll explain, things that I think she should have done differently, things that she should have said, things that could have happened, areas where I missed, like, oh, I totally didn't do this or didn't do that, or she asked me this question and I totally fumbled. To be able to give real world advice and stories that are actually happening to the ladies within my business, because I know that they are dealing with that stuff also. So again, authenticity, real, story time, not unscripted. What is the moral of the story? What am I trying to share? And this is how I sell, right? This is why you should be in H Club. This is why you should go to the retreat. I teach this every Wednesday in my community. Is how I do the majority of my selling.
It's so good for someone who's very scheduled and everything has its spots to think about having to just jump on and start doing a reel in the middle of it's just not for me.
Yeah.
But what you just said there is you don't have to do that. You can jot down, throw it in your little file, and later when it's time, you've got that scheduled time, bust out and do 10 short little reels about whatever it is that you have on your list.
Yep, absolutely. A lot of times when I am doing my makeup between you and I, is the stories that I'm telling in the morning when I'm doing my makeup are stories that happened a few days ago.
Yeah.
But I tell it as if, because a lot of times several stories happen in one day.
Yeah.
Sometimes several, and I just don't have the time. So I'll jot it down here. It winds up in my notes section of my phone, so I can go live at any time. But a lot of the stories are from a while ago, because sometimes several things do happen, and I don't want to share all the goodness in one day. I'm like, oh, this was really good. Oh, this was really good. But I want to separate these, because sometimes a Tuesday is boring. Like freaking nothing happens on it. Nothing happened today. So then I'll be able to share one of those past stories on a Tuesday when not much was going on, to be able to electrify some sort of a conversation in my DMs.
Yeah. I thought another thing that was interesting about the article, when they talked about how often now it's not that you have to sit and sell something. You can have your book in the background. I can talk about a health thing, this new water bottle that I got, blah, blah, blah. And it's not a sell. It doesn't sound like you're being sold to, but you're getting your info across.
Absolutely.
That was something I thought was kind of exciting to play with as well.
Absolutely.
It's interesting because I never thought of it for marketing, but for my clients. Just the other day, I was talking to a woman about this. I have a client who she doesn't drink water, and it's just really something challenging. So back there, I've got a big jug of water I put up there, and I put it with lemon slices, and they're like floating in there. And I did that specifically for her. She noticed it. So then she brought it up, and the whole conversation went different. So that's what I do in as a client sometimes. But then to do that in marketing, I just didn't weave those together. And obviously now I will. So good. Right.
You know what this is reminding me of? That is marketing. So you obviously know that. That's why you brought it up. One of the things that I was taught in some sort of marketing class, this was a while ago now, but you can tell when your audience, this was more so on like when you're doing workshops on Zoom calls and you're looking to see if the audience is aligned with you, if they're actually paying attention and listening to you and like zoned in on you, is while you are teaching, he actually said, take a drink. So in the middle of you teaching whatever it is, take a drink. Notice how many people take a drink.
Interesting.
Within seconds to like 2 minutes, because some people won't do it right away because they're like conscious. I'm one of those people, like I'm conscious, like, I don't want to drink when they're drinking because that's like looks like I'm not. Within 2 minutes, those are the people that are freaking tuned in and paying attention to you.
That's
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Isn't that cool? But to your point, right?
Right.
She's listening, she's watching, she's tuned in, she's looking, she's checking things out. That is a way to market. And I also want to notate here before we read what Kathy says here. Some of the best restaurants that I know go to on a regular basis is because I saw somebody at the restaurant in their story, just life. Like I'm living my life. I'm at restaurants.
Truth.
I saw something that looked really good. I messaged them. I said, "Oh my gosh, this freaking taco looks amazing. Where are you?" And then they'll tell me, and then I will go.
Yeah.
And they weren't even trying to market anything. They were literally just trying to show what they were eating.
Yeah.
So if that's working in that sense, right? How can we use that same exact thought process for our own business?
Yeah.
Love it. Okay, Kathy, being authentic is also remembering to market to our audience the way that we want to be marketed to.
Yeah. That it takes us right back to what we were talking about in that first little segment there when we were talking about that authenticity and the bravery that it takes to hop on screen and to talk about something. It doesn't have to be deep, dark, personal. People, sometimes we think we have to go to the deepest depths. We don't have to, but to really be your authentic self and to give your honest opinion or voice about what you believe in can be so challenging. We were talking about imposter syndrome that last incredible, ladies. You have to go listen to that last one on imposter syndrome. It was really, really our last episode. And that can come up with this, right? We're afraid of speaking our authenticity. We're afraid to go out there and just be us. Instead, we want to have that, okay, this is what I'm doing, then this is what I'm doing, then this is what I'm going to do, instead of just jumping on, just like we do here.
Yeah.
Like you said, we've got some bullet points, but I don't know what I'm going to say until you start talking. And then I'm like, yeah. And that's valuable.
Yeah. Yeah. And the cool thing about just having conversations about this, Emily and I were talking about this earlier today with the retreat that we're running. We're running a retreat, like I said, 2026 April for women business owners, is a lot of times our mind opens up, right? It's not just like a back and forth, like, oh, that's a good one. But when you can really dive into, which is why I'm really loving these panels with you, Debbie, is when you really dive into a certain focus for a few minutes, right? 15, 20 minutes per topic that we go in, and you hear how other people are viewing it. You hear other people's point of views, their projection from their life and what they've gone through. Just kind of like what you said with the, you went to your audience. You're like, oh, I was kind of like, I'm not really sure about this, Sabrina. But then you went to your audience and they were all like, actually. It opens our mind to like, oh, damn. There's like whole other ways of doing things, doing life, doing health, doing business that I've never even thought of before. Like the things you said with Brene Brown here, I jotted some of that stuff down. It's like, dude, these are things that we need in our life to keep us going, keep us evolving, keep us growing mentally, emotionally, physically, in so many areas of our business.
Yeah. So valuable. I mean, this is really a good conversation about this. And I think that when we can get that piece that we're allowed to change, I don't know who said it, but if you have a closed mind and you're set on something, you are set for failure. That's it. You have to be able to, especially in marketing, right? So this is a shift. This is the way it was. And now it's like this, right? So you have to be able to adapt to it. You've got to be willing to say, wait, what was that? Give me that information. Let me come up with a new conclusion, new info in my own mind. I think that that's so valuable. And a lot of us don't want to do that. This is the way it is, period.
Yeah.
Never a period.
Yeah. Never a period. Exactly. This has been great. Speaking of our mental health, emotional health, physical health, in regards to learning new things, being involved in conversations, ongoing conversations, right? Ongoing conversations, not just on a Zoom call one day, that's it, never hear from the person ever again, but ongoing conversations with people that you know, like, and trust, just as Kathy's putting here. Physical health. Yeah. Physical health. I know that this is something that us as women business owners, so many of us struggle with, because it's so easy just to wake up, sit down at your computer and just stay here. we have calls, we have to prep, we have emails. And when there is no timestamp, right? I think that unlike 9 to 5ers, there's like 9 to 5, right? And then it's like you go to the gym before, you go to the gym after. We could literally just work all day.
Yeah.
Just all day long.
Yeah.
There's always like, let me just do one more thing. Let me just do one more email. Because it's ours. It's our business. We can do it whenever we want to do it. And important, healthy things a lot of times gets pushed out of the way. So one of the things that Debbie brought to us, which I just think is so freaking brilliant, is the simple way to double your daily steps. So I'm really excited for her to dive into this. A couple of things after reading this article that I have found myself, or I'm applauding myself for doing for years now, is I always park in the back of parking lots. So, doesn't matter where I'm going, doesn't even matter. It's a quick trip. If it's a quick trip to the grocery store, I just need to grab one thing. It doesn't matter. I always, I've been doing this for well over a decade. I always park at the back of parking lots. It drives almost everyone insane who I am riding with, because there'll literally just be spots. Like sometimes there's no spots, but there's times when there's tons of spots, and I will still park at the last parking lot next to the freaking tree along the road. They're like, what is going on here? But that's just an easy way for me, right? We're going to go into like an easy way to double your steps. That's an easy way for me to get in some extra steps that I wouldn't have previously gotten. And the other thing that I just started doing probably within the last 6 to 8 months is when I'm on the phone with somebody that I know I'm going to be on the phone with for a really long time, like my mom, for instance, my grandma, my son, where I know I'm going to be on the phone for maybe even an hour, I will immediately put on my shoes and just start walking around my neighborhood, because it's real easy just to lay down on the bed, just put your feet up and just have an hour conversation. And that person, when they're a close person like that, they're okay if you're out of breath or if you're huffing a little bit. It's really no big deal. Obviously, if you're on a sales call, probably not the best idea. But with calls like that, that's one thing that I just started doing within the last few months. And it's been great, great way to get out and get my body moving.
Yeah. Let's just stick with that for a minute, because it's part of the article. They talk about how we have this belief system that we need something new and fancy to change our health.
Yes.
That new fancy way of doing it. And when we talk about drink water, get your steps in, it doesn't feel like it's valuable, because we all know it. And it just seems like, oh, that again. And we kind of push it aside. Yeah. And that's why I love this article so much.
Yeah.
And the why behind it. So why steps for me is it's a science pathway. Movement creates energy, which creates brain clarity, which creates performance, which creates cash flow.
Love it.
Right. So again, this is that business strategy, that health is business strategy. And it talks about in the article that and I love this too, because again, people will often, I've got so far to go. Where do I start? Every additional 1,000 daily steps lowers all-cause mortality rate by 12%.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and it doesn't matter if you're starting at 2,500 steps or you're already at 10,000. It still reduces it. And so that's the biggest points I kind of want to make when it comes to, I know that you've heard this. Yeah. It's not fancy. It doesn't have enough of bells. It's not a big biohacking. You're going to go get into all of it, right? Which is all great stuff. But this is very doable. It costs you nothing to do it. And it greatly changes not only your physical health, but your mental health and your ability to perform, which I think is, so important.
One of my favorite parts was the ending here, where it literally just says, if you just go to do 7 to 8 minutes, just a basic walk, 7 to 8 minutes, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it adds an extra 2,500 steps. I mean, who would have thought?
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things we've talked about this in the past too. We look at movement and why we want it. We know now clarity. We want energy, right? Yeah. That's all. but you can get it. And I know how busy you are, ladies, because I am too.
Yeah.
Sabrina is too.
Yep.
But little things, a stand-up desk.
Yep. I just got one.
Did you?
Yeah, I just got one like
Brilliant.
a month ago. And dude, I freaking love it because I find myself just moving and I stretch. I find myself stretching more. I'm doing like some squats, not because I'm like, oh, I need to squat because I need to work out, but just because I'm like standing.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so it just leaves so much more room for like just like creativity and just the way that I'm standing versus a chair. You're just like sitting. There's not a whole like you can move your feet a little bit, but you're just like sedentary. So I'm loving it.
Yeah. And that's the thing that I want to try to highlight and kind of highlight with the women today is men, women, is what can you do in your day?
Yeah.
How do you squeeze in pockets, right? I'm not going to give you a list of, oh, this is what you should do. I'm just not that kind of coach. It's not the way I work. And I don't think it's all that helpful. You can all chat GPT, whatever the hell it's called. Do that and get 5,000 ideas of how to. But what fits in your day? Just like you were saying, Sabrina, you're on a call, go for a walk.
Exactly.
Or when I'm waiting for my coffee, and I know this sounds silly for some, but I jump. Right?
I love that.
Yeah, I hop and I just jump. It takes about, 20 seconds for the coffee to be done, but I jump for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Just these little ways. So to find those pockets of moments where you can add in some time. In the article, it talked about a gentleman walked to his grocery store and then walked back.
Yep.
Oh, that's 15 minutes. There's 15. That's a whole 30 minutes. But when he drove with stoplights and everything else, what was it, like 6 or 8 minutes or something? It ended up being like 18 minutes more. So just play with that. And as business women, this is the jam.
Yeah.
This is worth it because it's part of your business strategy.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things too that kind of came up for me while I was reading this is yes, walking, right? Yes, walking, yes, jogging. But if you're like, oh, at the time, there's also bicycling. You can also bicycle. You can also take a scooter. That's still like, yes, you're rolling, but you're still pushing, you're still balancing, it's still better for you than riding in a car. So don't knock it off your list just because you're like, oh, Debbie, I can't walk. I don't want to walk. Too much time to walk. There are other means of transportation besides sitting in a car that give you the cardio that's necessary for you to get your health into better shape.
Yeah. And also there's a billion different. So even if you're standing in line and you're waiting at the Starbucks, go back and forth on your feet.
Yeah.
You're moving, right? And you think, oh, there's all these, and that's the thing I'd like women to really think about.
Yeah.
Think about the areas, the pockets of time when you're just not moving. Is there something you can do to help? One, I can't remember. It's a blood sugar. So you're sitting at a meal and you're eating something a little high in sugar. If you just go from toe to heel, toe to heel, toe to heel, while you're sitting there, your sugar spike lessens.
Wow.
Right. So there's all these little things that you can do. And the goal always being to improve your health because it's part of your business strategy. Yeah.
Love it. Absolutely. This was amazing. What a great conversation around kindness versus niceness. And listen, if you're just now checking in right now, I see a bunch of you just jumped on live. Catch the first part of this episode. It was delicious with Debbie and I diving into the difference between kindness and niceness. There is a huge difference, especially if you are a business owner, especially if you are a coach. You need to listen to the first half of this podcast for sure. Then we dove into marketing in a Gen Z world. And then we just queued it up right now with health and wellness. And we're always giving you tips, ladies. We're always giving you tips on how to do business differently, how to do life differently so that you can lead an exponential, amazing, excellent life. You know, one step at a time, one thing at a time. Any closing thoughts, Debbie, as we wrap up?
Yeah, I think that as business women, we don't give ourselves enough credit for what we do and how hard we work and all the things that we have to put out there. And so be kind to yourself, not just nice, right? To pay attention to your marketing and let yourself expand and grow and learn something new. And make sure that your health is a priority. It's part of your business strategy. You deserve it. You deserve the time and energy to do that.
Absolutely. Love it. As always, ladies, it was fantastic being here with you. Thanks so much for hanging out with Debbie and I. Once again, a reminder, Emily Tassoni and I are hosting a business retreat for women business owners in April of 2026. We would love for you to show up live with us in real life. Make sure you take a screenshot of that. Check out the sales page. Thank you again for spending part of your Monday with us and being a part of this conversation. And always know you can comment when you list comments. We would love to invite them into our conversation so that we can actually talk with you guys live here on screen. These panels exist because women business owners deserve real discussions, real perspectives, and real support. Not just surface level advice or performative motivation. This is real life business women coming to you with our real life experiences around these topics. So if this conversation resonated with you, make sure you subscribe. Share this with another woman who needs it and stay connected with us here. We meet every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern with a gorgeous group of women business owners. And if you're looking for deeper community, real relationships, and ongoing support as you grow your business, always remember H Club. I run a community called H Club. Debbie is a part of that. And we are a community of women business owners who are serious about building, scaling, and doing business together better. So we'll see you next Monday. Thanks so much for being here. And as I always say,